Also very funny to hear you mentioned emailing Excel spreadsheets, and I see people who work in fashion who are nodding. You're still doing that, aren't you? That's what we're here to talk about today. So, digital product passport. This is kind of maybe the key buzzword of the moment when we're talking about legislation. And so we wanted to bring up one of the prime examples from the Nordics. There are many out there. So I'm proud to welcome Anna Berne from Filippa K. Round of applause.
Sorry, Konrad. Hi. I'm Anna. I'm the VP of Product and Sustainability at Swedish fashion house Filippa K. And I'm here to talk about our traceability initiative, our pilot that we're working together with GS1 on, called the Fiber Traceability Initiative. And I'm really happy, Staffan, that you were here before me explaining the tech parts, because I can't. So I'm going to talk about the brand perspective of this. Traceability, it's the core of our sustainability work at Filippa K. It's the foundation, it's the enabler for all other sustainability pillars that we're working on. Environmental, social, for us to be able to reduce our impact, we need the data to be able to measure. If we don't know where our products are coming from, where the raw material is originally from, we can't measure that. And we can't start with a reduction plan either. So traceability has been a really high important topic for us, and we've been frustrating to not reaching the targets that we have set. The traditional way of tracing a garment, you start with the garment, you see the fabric, maybe the yarn, you get down to the tier 1, the tier 2, you can start building the value chain, but then it stops somewhere. You don't really get down to the farm level. You don't get past maybe your wash house or the spinnery. So you don't know where the raw material is coming from. You don't really know the farm. We have the certifications. They're helping us to get down to country of origin. And we are starting to talk about the importance with the value chain. And we're getting somewhere, but we really wanted to take it further. And from that frustration that we had, the Fiber Traceability Initiative was born. I can take the first slide if I can't do it myself. Back one, yeah. So the issue for us was that we couldn't really get down to the traceability level that we wanted. We wanted to stop using assumptions, both when we did our greenhouse gas emissions calculations, but also when it comes to actually informing the customers about where their products are coming from. So that was the frustration that we had that we wanted to tackle. So that was the issue. And the solution that we have now is a digital, traceable wool value chain. It was important for us that it was digital, preparing us for the upcoming legislations, the regulations. We did not want to do something that was tailor-made only for Filippa K. Introducing that to a supplier, knowing that we have many other brands coming with their pilots that are not really interoperative to be able to connect together. So it was important for us that it was something that was not tailor-made. It needed to be scalable, both when it comes to different raw materials, but also when it comes to increasing the number of suppliers that could join. So we have created a pilot. It's a beta solution of a digital product passport, and it's a first draft of that. Products are launching this fall. So what we did, this is our supply chain. We started with the farm instead. We did not want to start with a product and then try to trace the raw material back to the farm. We started with actually talking to the farms together with our partners. So we connected the farms. In this case, it's the wool farms in South Africa that we connected to the project. We also contacted the wash house, the scouring facility, and we connected them manually. So we built our supply chain from the farm through the wash house, the scouring, to the spinnery, to the garment manufacturer, all the way to the products in our stores. So we turned it around and worked with farm-forward traceability instead. This is a way, it looks complicated because, of course, you have so many suppliers, right? Like you have different suppliers in different areas, but it's the way that you need to do it. You need to start with the raw material instead of trying to trace it back in the way that the value chains look today. I can take the next slide. I also have a fancy circle thing to show. So what we are doing here is that we're actually connecting the farm digitally, and we are tracing the raw material, the wool in this case, from the farm through the whole way to the stores and the customers today. We also see the potential to add on what's happening to the products when they leave the stores. Can we also get traceability from the products leaving our stores to helping the customers with repair, recycling, repurposing, and actually getting the data to be able to measure how we can further improve that. That is the next step for us. What else is there? I think important, I think Staffan, you said it in a really good way. We are building the trail now. It's important for us to not do something tailor-made. We're building the trail to be able to add on more data. So in this pilot, we don't have all the data. We started quite small, but we're building a solution that can add on more data going forward, because we don't know exactly what the legislations are going to be, what data will be required. So it's important for us as a company, but also for the supply chain that we're onboarding, for them to be able to also adjust so that they can add on whatever data their customers want to get, what they want to be able to measure. And that is what we're doing when we're building the digital way together with GS1, is that we're creating the trail, and then we can add on more. We can add on more data depending on whatever the legislations are going to be. I think that is the cool part about this project, is that you don't, as a supplier, need to have this solution and then also have more different tailor-made solutions for other brands. You can have this one, and then you can add on whatever you need. Next one, I think this is the partners. Important with this type of pilots is the partnerships, not only in different companies, different industries, but also within the brands to collaborate. We're not competitors. When it comes to sustainability and reaching change, we need to collaborate because we're too small. One company, one brand, we need to come together and work together. So in this pilot, we're working together with GS1, which we're really happy about. We also have non-profit X Foundation, that's the project lead, and we have our digital platform provider, Virtual Roots, for this pilot. And the next slide, I can just show you a sneak peek of the products that are launching in September. So they're not yet out in the stores, but they're coming very soon. And also on the next slide, you can see a QR code, and here you can scan to just get an example of how we built the first version of our product passport. It's early, we don't have everything, but we're starting small with ambition to increase the level of data, increase what we can actually share with our consumers. And that's it, but we're going to talk more about that as well. Thanks.
Yes, so stick around, Anna, and I will invite up to the stage again Staffan Olsson and Staffan's colleague Karolin Catela from GS1 Sweden. We can't have enough applause. Let's give one last before we start. I'll stand for this one. Thank you, Anna. Just to follow up with you, you say you're taking small steps just to begin. There's obviously a lot to be done after this. What are some first kind of learnings from doing this? What do you see as the next steps for you guys after having done this pilot?
So that is, I think, exactly what we're touching upon. We had higher ambitions when we started and initiated the pilot. We wanted more suppliers. We wanted to start with knitwear and woven, but we had to scale it down a little bit to be able to start and actually getting the pilot done. I think that is the biggest learning, not to try to do everything at once, but starting, getting the actual receipt on that it's working, and then you can scale. Then you have a showcase, and then you can show and share with the bigger share of the supply chain as well, getting them motivated to join. I think that has been the biggest learning. Don't try to do everything. Try to start, and then you can continue, you can build more.
Karolin, you've partnered with Filippa on this project. I love the various circles. There's always a circle when we're talking about DPP, a circle or maybe some kind of process slide. I think do think that is super important because it kind of underscores all the many elements that has to be tracked and traced in a project like this. And right now we're talking about manufacturing to the actual garment. We're then going to talk about up to retail and then on to consumer and recycling and so forth. But Karolin, talk a little bit about the process of doing this pilot and what have been some of the challenges do you think?
As you know, when you have a project with many different stakeholders, and in this case, we also have many different countries. Farms in South Africa, we have scourer in Bulgaria, we had spinners in Italy, and we also had the manufacturer in Romania. And one of the challenges, I would say, is that the commitment and also to be open-minded to change. Because you know what you have, but you don't know what it will look like. So be open-minded and commit to the project and align internally. So when we talked before, I said that the technical parts, like the RFID, the 2D code, you have the standards in place. But the soft value, when we talk about collaboration, alignment, changing the processes, ways of working, that has been one of the biggest challenges, I would say.
And I think just to tap onto that, it was also a learning that when you learn about this, it's also tradition in how you do the purchasing that we had to change. Not only
Definitely,
building.
yes.
You have your favorite wool trader that you buy from, and it's a tradition that you actually buy from that. We need to change the whole way of working and the traditions also when it comes to the industry, which is challenging.
Staffan, I feel like maybe you're sinking through the floor.
Yeah.
You don't want to be here anymore?
I'll just skip this chair and go like this. I'm that heavy.
But maybe we should, because I want to touch on this notion of having these many different stakeholders. What's your perspective of that, and how do you tackle that challenge from your perspective?
Well, I think it's the part that I mentioned about vendor lock and things like that, or an interoperability, if you practice saying it again, is the key to that. So be open-minded. Just like you said, don't expect that everyone will use the system that you picked. It's kind of like phones, I don't have to agree on which phone brand you have before I can make a call. I just dial the number or however I do it, and we can talk. And the phone manufacturers and telecom operators, they figured out ways to organize the interoperability for phone calls. So we need kind of an internet of traceability where things are set. So you kind of connect to that network and then things just work.
Anna, how easy was it to onboard the suppliers in this project? I'm sure if it's a pilot, I'm guessing you go for suppliers that are kind of on board. Maybe there's some suppliers you're not reaching out to. Talk about that process a little bit.
It is an issue that we have initiated so many different pilots, because every supplier has 1 or 2 or 3 pilots, and it's adding on admin work for them, which is a cost. Which is also why right now we're meeting a higher resistance than we've had before to actually onboard them. So it has been a bit of an issue, and it has been not understanding this part that is actually something that they can scale has been an issue, because they already have a pilot of that and a pilot of something similar. So not easy, but of course we're starting with suppliers that we know are also open to transform and a bit far ahead when it comes to their sustainability targets.
And I want to add to that, as Anna said, the knowledge about the GS1 standards it's getting better, but it's still, as a GS1, the global organization, we have a lot to do to reach out to different sectors and industries and companies. So it is a struggle to actually have the companies understand the value of having or using the global standards. And it's not all about the QR code, and it's also about changing the way of how you work. Scan. the box or...
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about here, and we could go at length. I mean, we have the identifier, of course, that's the thing on the actual garment that you scan and so forth. Then there's the actual data behind it, the thing that pops up on your phone or your computer or whatever. But what I'm interested in, speaking from your perspective, Anna, we have to invent new practices inside of the companies in order for this to work. So this is a pilot, of course, but can you kind of foresee how you need to restructure yourselves in order to do this at scale?
This is one example, but everything else, the upcoming legislations, how we actually prepare for those are the same. So what we have done that was needed to be done is that we have changed from having a sustainability department at the side, trying to drive all of these things, but the other departments have a different agenda and a different target and something else to work on. So we started to integrate sustainability, to actually have every other person at Filippa K right now are working actively in the sustainability team. So we have sustainability representatives in the IT department, in the sales team, because we need to build a landing page. That's our e-com team. I can't do that. Same with the logistics department. They need to be on board for this. I can't work on that. I think that's the also that we talked about in the beginning of the session, that we can't start building silos and expect the sustainability department to represent all of these. We need to integrate it with the company. And it's not perfect, but we've started. So we've started to also having representatives from every part of the organization on board.
Karolin, how do you help support this kind of de-siloing of organizations?
Yes, I mean, as Anna is saying, Filippa K needs to do their work internally, and for GS1 also to do our work to talk to these different stakeholders from Filippa K, but also to align this externally. Because the maturity, the technical maturity and things like that at the farms, I mean, they're still using pen and paper. So we need to actually hold hands with the farmers to explain, all right, you're going to scan a QR code or a barcode on the actual bale of wool. And do the same with all the different partners and stakeholders in the project. So
there's some level of kind of manual onboarding these. You can't just give people new technologies and like off to the races.
No, we need to be there, as I said, to hold hands to explain this is how you can do it.
Right.
So it's.
Let's look in the crystal ball a little bit just to wrap it up. These are the first steps. Staffan, you laid out the timeline. The heart is pounding a little bit. What does this look like in 5 years, in 10 years? Let's say 2030, when the EU says everything is going to be up and running. How has this transformed a company like Filippa K? Do you think, Anna?
I think what's important here is that everyone understands what's coming, this wave. It's not like you can't only have the CEO and the sustainability part. You need, like, it's been really good when you guys have explained that to different parts of the organization, not only us chasing someone saying like, it's coming now. It's good that it's coming from an external partner as well, understanding this type of timeline that we are foreseeing, so that it's a sense of urgency for everyone, and not only put on one part of the organization to chase the rest. So I think that's a really good learning as well, to have external help when it comes to explaining the wave that's coming.
Right. Staffan, what do you see? What do you foresee? When this works smoothly, what does that look like? Well,
first of all, a digital product passport is just the beginning. So the complete, I think, total digitalization of these of these supply chains will need to happen. Maybe not in 5 years. Usually, people, what someone say, you overestimate what's going to happen in the next 2 years and underestimate what's going to happen in the next 10 years. Suddenly something complete, some AI comes up with it just solves all this. I don't know. But my prediction is that we'll still be busy doing this in 5 years. Yeah. Got it.
Karolin, last word.
I just want to emphasize what both Helena, Anna and Staffan said, that collaboration is, it's the foundation for things to happen, and be open-minded and transparent, then the pace of implementing DPP will go much more smooth, I think.
Anna, Berne, Staffan, Olsson, and Karolin, Catela, thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.